Hello and welcome to Cars with Curtis. To make up for last week not doing any videos, we're doing two this week. Now, we're going to talk about the Mercades AMG Gt. But first, let's take a break and acknowledge #ViewerVote2014. If there's any video that you like that I've made and you think is the best video that I've made of 2014, put #ViewerVote2014 in the comments, and I will have it as one of the best videos of the year. Okay, on to the car. This here is a concept that Mercedes made last year. Beginning of this year. And this car is very, very cool. Now, they put this in a game for the PlayStation, Gran Turismo. They put it in Gran Turismo 6. Okay, now, I don't have Gran Turismo because I have a Xbox. But either way, they put this in Gran Turismo 6. You buy the game, and you can play with this car. Now, Mercedes puts it in as like a concept thing, like, here's a fancy concept car. But, no surprise, that's the last of this car. Okay? That's the last of this car. But what they have made is this. This is the Mercedes, okay, that replaces one of the greatest cars, the Mercedes SLS AMG. This car came out this year, set to replace it. Everything. Mercedes calls it the Porsche 911 competitor, but really, it's a close competitor for the Jaguar F-Type R, which is a faster one, and the Corvette Stingray Z06. Okay. Now those aren't slow cars, but neither is a Porsche. But this brings it up to the next level. This came out in the fall, the autumn, which is now. What this car is it's going to be half the price of the SLS. So that's what makes this car good. It costs less than the SLS. Very expensive car that was. This here's the GTS, which is technically called. But you can just buy the GT, which, because the S edition's faster. So you can buy the GT with less power. But, which is a bit different for what companies typically do. Typically they release the slowest one first. So you buy the GT, and then they might come with the GTS, and that's faster, because who's going to want to buy 10% less power? Either way, it's smaller than the SLS, which has gull wings. This one does not. Keep the gull wing special. You know. They only had two SLS, gull wing. But the gull wing, which is the SLS. So the GT is smaller, more agile than the SLS. But it looks similar in a way because it's got the long front nose and the right up to the windshield thing, windscreen, and it is a bit more pointy than the SLS. It gets very similar towards the back to the Jaguar F-Type. To get a picture of that, I'm going to take you to this picture. Now this here is one of the more of a better look at it from the side. But you can see it really does it goes more down towards the F-Type and Porsche look. It does look actually like a Porsche from that angle. But you can see it is a bit more pointy at the front. It goes more outwards, right? The reason that it has this fancy color, let's see how that looks in the camera. Oh, that's because that's like the stuff they put on to give it fancy, like look when you're testing it. Because that's the test version right there. I actually wouldn't mind it having it in that color. Or that blue that's on it. That looks pretty cool. So this one here, there's more room to put stuff in the back too, they said. Because obviously they don't want it just to be some crazy supercar. I mean, that's what the SLS is. This one here, they go away from the craziness of the supercar while still making it fast. It's still a supercar, it's just a usable supercar. But this one here is a successor to the SLS. But Mercedes says in a couple years, the true successor to the SLS will be back with fancy gull wings and stuff. So that's exciting. As of now, you also cannot buy this in convertible. Either way, brilliant looking car. Let's take one more quick look at it. The replacement for the SLS, the Mercedes AMG Gt. It's Mercedes AMG and not Mercedes Benz. I think they're trying to get rid of the Benz name. They're fading it out, so it's just Mercedes. I must say I don't say Mercedes Benz. I said it's a Mercedes. You know, so I think the Benz name is starting to go away. But looking at this car makes me say, genius. Looking at this thing is just so cool. So thanks for watching, and interesting car. Very cool to see what happens with it, and in a couple years we'll see where we're at with Mercedes. We'll see where we're at with videos too, see if I still make. Either way,